The Indianapolis Colts have traded Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders in exchange for 2 third-round draft picks. This, according to Adam Schefter. Multiple other sources have confirmed this. Carson Wentz is done in Indianapolis, and we know why now. It has come out that the Colts organization, GM, everyone felt that Carson Wentz wasn't the guy to lead this team to the Super Bowl. And it had to do a lot with his play on the field, especially in that last game. But it especially had to do, and what was noted in this latest report was the fact that Carson Wentz, the Colts didn't think that Carson Wentz led by example. The Colts didn't think that Carson Wentz was a leader of this football team. And of all of the things you could have said to indict Carson Wentz, I think that's the biggest thing. The Colts are the team that, and remember, a year ago, less than a year ago, traded a second-round pick for this guy, Carson Wentz. And it didn't work out. Going into the final game of the regular season, they were 9-7. They had a chance, win and you're in. All you got to do is beat the Jaguars, who at that point had already guaranteed themselves the number 1 overall pick. And Carson Wentz, the one moment his team needed him, not even to just win a playoff game. We're not talking about winning a playoff game. Carson Wentz ain't winning no playoff games, by the way. He's never done that. But we're not even talking about winning a playoff game here. We're legitimately just talking about getting there. He couldn't do that. With Jonathan Taylor, Darius Leonard on defense, couldn't do it. And now you have a situation where the Washington Commanders, now they have a starting quarterback that's going to resemble their field. Yeah, it's going to resemble FedEx Field. Why? Overhyped and very, very prone to making big and catastrophic mistakes. It's an accident waiting to happen. Both FedEx Field and Carson Wentz are an accident waiting to happen. Constantly. That is the one thing that you can say about Carson Wentz throughout his career. That's why, for me, I don't put him in that same class of quarterback as far as like being, like at the top tier of the quote-unquote good quarterbacks. I think he's actually at the bottom of that tier of good, solid quarterbacks. Genuinely. I still think he's solid. Don't get me wrong. His play on the field isn't bad. Is he one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the NFL? Yeah. Okay. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people who are going to ascend higher than him at this point in his career, because he's shown us what he is. He is a more volatile, injury-prone version, and this is saying a lot, of Jimmy G. He's more volatile because he'll turn the ball over more than Jimmy G does. And unlike Jimmy G, though, he won't be able to get his team to the playoffs, even with a solid to really good team built around him. And now there's talk about Jimmy G being the guy who's actually going to end up replacing Carson Wentz. We'll talk about that at a certain point. But at some point, the Dan Orlovskis, everyone out here who's saying that Carson Wentz, all this potential. He was the second overall pick in the 2016 draft. He's had 6 seasons to show us what he is, and what he's shown us is that he is a good quarterback. Nothing wrong with being a good quarterback, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. You can make a lot of money, like Carson Wentz is. Washington has agreed to pay $28 million, the $28 million salary that Carson Wentz is due this year. So the Colts got off scot-free with this one. Commander Carson is now your starting quarterback if you're a Washington football team fan, a Washington Commanders fan. And what do I have to say about that? The quarterback carousel in Washington continues. Or should I say land over Maryland? The quarterback carousel nonetheless continues for Dan Snyder's abomination of a football team. And look, is he going to be better than Taylor Heineke? Yeah. Is he going to be the difference between this team being competing for their division and not? Not really, because odds are something's going to happen to the Cowboys. It always does. After a year after they end up doing something really, really or doing very well, they always end up disappointing the year after. So they're probably going to do that. I'm getting tongue-tied here. They're probably going to do that. So Washington's going to have a chance regardless. They're going to have Taylor Heineke starting, and they might still make. They still might win the division. That's if the pattern continues of the Cowboys constantly disappointing in the year after they make the playoffs. If the Cowboys come out and play their football and they're healthy, then all right, no, Carson Wentz and this team, they're not making the playoffs. The defense on this team is really good. They have some solid pieces around him, but he's too volatile. He couldn't win with the Colts. What makes you think he's going to win in Washington? Not a lot. Washington would have a better chance of winning, honestly, if they brought back Kirk Cousins. Genuinely. And I am not a Kirk Cousins fan. I think it's terrible that Kirk Cousins is he's the only quarterback or only player in NFL history to have a fully guaranteed contract, and he's done it twice. And I think they would have been better off rather if they had Kirk Cousins than Carson Wentz. Hey everyone, we hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.